Jared PolandFroKnowsPhoto.com, and welcome to the the critique for the top five. Well, it's not the top five anymore. These are the critique and the honorable mentions from, I think it was October 1st and 2nd or something like that. The theme was Think Different. So we're going to go through this and see what I saw and things that I thought different. Thought different. Yeah, that thinking. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let's just get right into it. So the first one, I thought this was great. You've got the two kids. You're not allowed to use a flash at the aquarium. You can see what's going on in the aquarium, and the kids are just loving it. They shot with an 18-105 lens and shot at like 1/80th of a second. And something like this, you could try to drop the shutter speed a little more, especially with the VR on that lens, to allow a little bit more light to focus in on the kids, just slightly. Maybe a fill light would do some justice to this in the in Lightroom, but I thought it was a cool concept. Of course, you got the kids right up against the window. You're not allowed to use flash, and they're just at all, and the kid's eating a banana. I just noticed there was a banana in it. So let's go to the next one. All right, so I like this image. It's strong. It's really strong. But I'm curious as why it's cropped. It looks to be slightly cropped for some reason, and I'd like to know kind of why. But other than that, forgetting about the cropped aspect, it's really nice. Look at the light. You have to expose really well here, so probably shot with manual exposure or spot metering on the subject, because if you don't, the sky and everything would have blown out, or would have caused everything in here to be dark and everything out here to be exposed for the light. But look how nice and silvery these tones look. I think that's a really great photo, and that's why I called it out here. This was very nice as well for a flower shot. The colors and the tones and everything work really well, shooting straight down. So that's why I pointed this one. Just like the colors, it's really just nice. It could be one of those postcards, and if you softened it up a little bit, it would be like a painting. You could print this out on a G Clay, and it would be a nice looking print. I pulled this one because it's one of those things where it's like overkill. It was like overdone. The shot and everything's fine. It's just that it's like the processing seems to be a little overkilled. So, for me, for you, for me, for you, I think that it's a little overkill. And I'd like to see it pulled back slightly, or maybe done a really, really high contrast black and white. But I think this is an HDR attempt. But I just think it's a little over the top, and pulled back slightly would do it some justice. All right, and what's cool about this, thinking different about how you could photograph a Coke bottle. We know that this is Coke. At least I hope it's Coke now that I say that. And the condensation is on it. It's just really, really cool. It's a different way to think about the normal shots of just shooting a Coke bottle and focusing in on the drops, but still knowing that it says Coca-Cola. As long as it doesn't say Pepsi-Cola. But I think it says Coca-Cola. I love Pepsi, by the way. I like Pepsi more than Coke. Actually, I like Coke in the can when it's really, really cold. But I like Pepsi throwback really, really, really a lot. In the can, too. It's good. Not in the bathroom, but in the can. And cherry Pepsi isn't bad at all, too, when it's really cold. But this isn't about soda. So I thought this was a nice way to think different about how to photograph the bottle or the can, and just the background really works well here. So I showcased one, a couple of these. It's just a tribute to Steve Jobs, but of course the reflection is what plays well, because that's a lot of what ScreenFlow, what iTunes was or may still be for a long time, that reflection type thing. So they thought about how to do that, and they did that. This is still baffling me. The guy's upside down. I don't know what's going on here. He says it's not edited, like he's cut out or anything. I'm just still baffled about how this is done. Whether he's upside, I have no idea. Somebody's gonna have to try to figure this one out, and I'd be open to anybody leaving a comment about why this is how it is, or what it is. It is really is. It is. I pulled this flat out because the color. Just look at the transitions of the color. JP photography. Look at the colors, the transitions from the purples to the pinks to the blues to the yellows to the oranges. Awesome. Really like it. These colors are great. I just thought I would call that one out. I just love the color. I love color. Give me a rainbow. I'm happy with it. Yeah, I mean, fingers are kept in here. Fingers are kept in here. Yeah, it's a little pixelated because it was a smaller file and I have it a little bigger here, but don't worry about that. It's a different way to think about how to take a photo of a screen. You're taking a photo of the screen. It really works well. These are things that you can do. Selective focus, focusing in on the screen. You got the person in the background. You can still see them out of focus. So that's another way to think about how to do a cell phone picture while taking a picture with your camera. It's something that we do at weddings often, or when people are taking pictures of other people. If you focus in on the screen and blow out the background, it's another way to get an interesting type photo. He was definitely thinking different about how to make a portrait, and you've got the weird colors of the magentas and then the green in the background and the crazy hair, and I actually think he's probably hanging upside down. I think. Maybe he's upside down and he just let the blood rush to his head for a really long time. But it's like Beetlejuice. What's it? If you say Beetlejuice 3 times, he'll show up. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. No Beetlejuice. Artists. When you have artists and they work with their hands, focus in on their hands. That's great. I mean, they work with them, so that's what you want to show. That's part of what's going on. That's the art of what's at the heart of it. I'm just like a walking making of taglines for Hallmark. Art is at the heart of it. Love what you do and love one another. That's about it. I like this shot. Moving on, thinking slightly different. All of the matches are burnt except for one. Thinking different, using an exposed roll of Kodak. What kind of film is this? Kodak DA5? Is the DA5, is that the color processed black and white? I don't think so. But projected to think different on their screen, not projected, but put it on their computer screen, held up the negative or taped it there, and took a photo of it. Really nice way to think outside the box. That's why I picked it here. And it's a selective crop, but that's okay for this because that's what works with a film strip. Really nice job. Thinking different. Good thing they're wearing boxer shorts. The title was what the floor sees or something from the scale, from below the scale. So obviously you had to put this on top of something and then stand on top of it. So they probably don't weigh terribly too much, but what a cool concept to come up and think differently, shooting up on things, and I venture to say they weigh 97 pounds. It's a kitty cat. How can you go wrong with a kitty cat? The only thing that I would like to see is the kitty cat's tuchus not cut off. Being that the tuchus is cut off just a little bit, it throws it off, but the eyes are beautiful, and just the softness of it is really nice, and I just love kitty cats. Think different. It's interesting. I guess that is a USB. Let me see. It doesn't look like a USB-C. Mine's round, and that one's straight. Oh, it must be the older connector. That's why. It's a cool little ad. I mean, we've seen this a lot of times, but that's a very nice looking Apple, and it's captured very well, so that's why I pulled it out. Though I wasn't looking for a lot of Apple type photos, this is executed very well because you have the lighting from here, you've got the Apple on the phone, you've got the Think Different. It's a very nice attempt, or not attempt, but execution for making an advertisement. So very nice job with that. I just like this because it's focusing in on the birdie. Hello, birdie. And you've got the girl whistling to the birdie. Hello, pretty birdie. Would probably want a quacker. I don't know. There's something about birds. They're really cool, except when they start chirping a lot in the morning. But I don't have birds here, but I do have them outside my window. I just like the composition. You can see the focus is here on the bird. It even looks like the bird is whistling back. So I liked it. Possibly, I can't tell sharpness from here. It may look like it's slightly soft, but that could be that it's a smaller file. And other than that, I maybe would look into the processing to do something different, but I'm not sure which way I would go with it. But I just wanted to show this one. And then I had a horse. I just wanted to showcase the horse so I could do that. And then, remember how I talk about those repetitive things? Here we have a whole scene that's really fully in focus, front to back, side to side, left to right, up and down. And I got a little dizzy shaking my head. I maybe concussed myself, but I hope not. But you know how those repetitive motions in lines work really well? It works really well here. And I like the color. I like that it's shooting through these power lines, and you really shouldn't stand under power lines. For whatever reason, it may interfere with something, but I don't think so. Here is a good play on Apple and thinking different. Taking a bite out of crime of the apple, so maybe he's creating that bite that's cut out of the apple. He's got his headphones plugged into the apple, which are plugged into his ears, and instead of the traditional just, simple type thing, we've got a black and white with selective color on the, what are those, Washington apples, the green ones? Or what are they called? I don't know. But I thought that I picked this because that was a nice way to think different about what people normally do for the Apple type ads and thinking different about it. And then I'm going to make this smaller because it's not doing it any justice. But here we go. It's still not doing it any justice. But I thought this was really nice. Great tones in the sky. Great continuing repetitive lines. And I like that they left some area up here. I just like the colors and the tones. And it just works really, really well in my mind. And that takes us back to the beginning. So don't forget that the top 5... not the top 5, but to go out and photograph the new theme, which is outside, in quotes, / nature. So you have 2 things that you could focus on. For those who don't like doing the nature type things, you can just focus on things outside, portraits outside, anything outside. And nature people, focusing on the nature-y stuff. And that's about it. Have fun. Be sure to submit your images to the forum and all that good stuff. And I hope this helps out. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.